All right, we might kick off. Welcome, everyone. My name is Niv Dagan. I'm the Executive Director of Peak Asset Management, and we've got Letitia and James from Primary Markets here to welcome you all. Today, we're all talking about emerging technologies, and we've got some exceptional speakers and companies. So with that note, really, we'll go through probably 8 or 10 minutes each about each company. We'll ask, Letitia and I will ask the panel a few questions and maybe open it up for some questions as well at the end. The recording will be, the webinar will be recorded. So for everyone at home, we will be sharing that as well. So welcome. First one is Bruce, Bruce Dell from Axiom. Love to hear a bit more about you and the company and what you're building.
Hello. Okay, so Axiom Holographics. We build hologram technology. I think you've all seen holograms in movies like Star Wars and Star Trek and things like that. That sort of technology, people ask, is it actually real? The answer is yes, it's been real for about the last 15 years. It's just been so expensive that it's only used by top science centers and groups like NASA and places like that. We've won a lot of big awards. The Mayor of Silicon Valley gave us Best Technology in 2019. China had the largest technology competition in the world in 2019 as well. We came second in that one because we've found a way to produce hologram technology, but at about 5% of the cost. So for example, places like Monash University built a hologram room for $3 million. We can produce the same thing for about $100,000. So the top two pictures are Star Trek and Star Wars, but the bottom two pictures are our real products. We really do have these things. We really are selling them. We have lots of customers buying them. Some people say, what's the next technology revolution? We've had telephones and electricity and televisions. And generally, people think the next technology revolution is hologram technology. And we seem to hold most of the major patents that are needed. Now, surprisingly, we build all of this here in Australia. So Australia is normally a big farm and a big mine, but we've been building hologram technology in our own factory. We built all of our laser calibration machines, everything here, largely government funded, and we now export these all over the world. There are two main areas for us. The one is non-entertainment, that's government, mining, medical, all of those sorts of things. And the other one is entertainment. Entertainment has come at a good time because cinemas are ending soon. What I mean by that is AMC Cinemas over in America says they have 3 years left before cinema is over. As in cinema, movies are now streaming directly to Disney Plus and Amazon Prime and all sorts of things like that. And so people say, well, where then will people take the children in the school holidays? Well, these here, you can see these pictures. These are our hologram rooms. We've been doing experiments with opening hologram entertainment centers. So these are the most advanced places in the world. You go into these rooms and objects made of light appear all around you. You do all sorts of adventures and various things. We also have hologram tunnels. These are 20-meter tunnels that a family walks through, and the animals and things come off the wall and they fly in the room with you. Sydney Museum came to see this and they said, well, the first museum to be able to do a hologram show will be pretty famous around the world. So we're doing Sydney Museum's 50-day dinosaur show in September in a few months' time. So that's a big event for us. Regarding competitors, we really don't have any. The three major immersive technology experiences in the world at the moment is Van Gogh Alive, National Geographic's King Tut, and Team Lab in Japan. All of these are flat projectors on walls. Now, if you look on the right side of the screen, you can see as we approach this Triceratops, you're seeing the front of his face. And then when we go past him, you see the side of his face. That's because this is like a window. You see out and you think you're looking at glass into another world. But if you look at the bottom picture, you can see how the animals are actually coming off the wall and swimming around in the air with the people. So this is sort of seen as such a major change for entertainment that we now finally have what the movies and things have been showing for a long time. Okay, regarding our sales so far. So the first 2 years of our company were in R&D. In 2020, we did 1.3 million in sales. We were happy. The fact that people wanted to buy our stuff at 100,000 each, that was fine. COVID was a bit of a rough time. We weren't allowed out of the country to deliver, but from 2022 to 2023, we've doubled our profits already. And you can see on the side here, all these little figures. These are all in US dollars, the figures on the side. And we're expecting, since we doubled last year, we'll do 3 times this year, 12 million. Certainly sales are going up very quickly. All of that was done with one salesperson and inviting people to come out to Australia. So who's buying? Well, Airbus, Honeywell, Bentley, Lockheed Martin, we've got a very good customer list. All of these groups have already bought multiple, well, some cases only one, but in other cases they bought one and then they wanted more. For example, Four Seasons is Bill Gates' luxury resort in the Maldives. They wanted a hologram aquarium. President Modi of India, he did a hologram table to unveil Asia's largest airport. So we've got a very impressive customer list, but these are people who are coming out from overseas. We're now wanting to expand and open overseas showrooms. David Merson ran Mincom. That was the largest technology company in the Southern Hemisphere. And he ran that for about 20 years. He's now the chairman here. He was our first investor here. I myself am the CEO. I'm considered to be one of Australia's top inventors. We also just recently received Australia's largest grant this year. The government sees hologram technology as, if the economy is going to have a difficulty with mining taking a downturn, then hologram technology is a good way to be able to perhaps produce a really, really good export. Our existing shareholders invested in the R&D stage to try and build this technology. They had a look at our prototypes and they said, wow, you've really got something special here. So Leica, if you know them, they made cameras and laser scanners all over the world. SoftBank in Japan, Altaman Group is the Oman royal family. Morgans is one of the top financial advisory firms. The fact that all of these very well-known names came in at the beginning at the R&D stage and really took all of the risk, I think gives the company a little bit of credibility. So those are the highlights on the screen, and that's pretty much my presentation. I'm sorry, I did not have a clock. I have no idea if I've gone over or under. Oh, actually, I'm under by a lot. I've only used up 6 minutes. Well, in that case, then we'll go through the highlights. So technology is patented. We're sort of seen as a little bit naughty in that we've patented up all of the major patents you would need to make cheaper hologram technology. So people sort of see us as maybe holding on to a bit of a monopoly there. We have very good existing customers, as we've shown. And those are the ones who are prepared to fly out to Australia, have a look at these things and say, how much? 100,000 to 200,000? Great, I'll take some. Once we open up our showrooms around the world, we expect the company to go very, very quickly in a good direction. Existing investors include some of the top groups in the world, from around the world in different locations: SoftBank, Leica, Oman Royal Family, Morgans, and plenty of others. Management team includes David Merson as the chairman here. He ran Mincom. Mincom was the biggest technology company in the Southern Hemisphere, making 200 million a year. Rapidly scaling growth. So we're going up very quickly, and we've only just begun. I'll actually point out here, we did have a little bit of a bump in the road. So the head of Nokia, after Nokia sold to Microsoft, the head of Nokia in the US came and joined us, and he said, let me handle all of your marketing. Unfortunately, in the next 2 years, even though we set him up in Europe with everything, they didn't sell anything at all. And here in Australia, our one little salesman was selling about 2 million each year. So we said, well, look, that's not worked. And that sort of put us back to, we need to go out and find investment money. We need to start again. So every company has a little bit of a bump. It was an honor. No company has ever had someone of that prestige ever join them before, but that attempt one didn't work. But of course, we're really glad with our one salesman here in Australia doing so well. Technology is applicable in multiple sectors. So I know this presentation has been a bit entertainment lent, but multiple sectors, government. Most of our sales so far have been in non-entertainment sectors. Government recently gave us one of the largest grants this year, big long due diligence process. We expect to do an IPO or a trade sale. Remember, lots of people want to gather up whatever is valuable, whatever core technology is valuable for the future. We want to go in about 2 to 3 years' time. Had we gone 3 years ago, the unicorns, you know, where companies were only 6% of them were profitable and they were going for billion-dollar valuations, that would have been a fantastic time. We're now sort of seeing the end of that, and people are looking for real technology companies with real products, real customers, and a real sort of believable rate of expansion. And I think we're going to fit that very well. And in 2 to 3 years' time, I think we're expecting a very good IPO. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Bruce, that was excellent. I haven't actually personally come across any hologram technology with this much, I'd say, proof of concepts and validation, and to attract those essentially paying customers with only one sales guy. That's all credit to you and the team. So our next speaker, Craig Austin from Excite. So looking forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to present Excite Holdings and the world's first alphabet lottery. Our company hasn't reinvented the wheel, so to speak. We did a lot of research into, best products and, what works and what doesn't work pretty much. And lotteries came up trumps every time. Everybody obviously has heard about lotteries and how they operate. And we're no different, really. The only thing that we've done is transformed from numbers to letters. And originally, it's sort of gone full circle. The original lotteries came out and they were councillors' names in a hat. And basically, they were drawn once a month to raise money for infrastructure in various cities around the world. We're basically going back to grassroots, I guess. So why as billions, I guess, is the question. Originally, my design was, I named, the brand name was As Balls. And obviously, in a highly regulated market that we are, there was a little bit of pushback with the brand name, just being a little bit comical. And after doing case studies on Powerball, Mega Millions, Euro Millions, and seeing all the jackpots hitting the $1 billion mark, As Billions seemed like a fitting brand name. So basically, we've created various advertising videos throughout conception, I guess. We're at a stage now where we're ready to pretty much go live. We've done rigorous testing on the site, making sure every little element works in the site. With letters, it's a different model altogether, I guess. People get more engaged. They can use their, pets' names, kids' initials. Just creates better engagement for the players, and it's a totally different. Obviously, being online gives the ability for people to play all over the world and to win all over the world. So other products we're bringing into the system, and we've been talking to a company in America that looks like is interested in putting up the $1 billion promotion for us. And we're going to bring an extra pool into the system to have a 7-letter draw. Obviously, it blows out the odds quite significantly, but $1 billion jackpot is probably where people really get engaged in lotteries. As you know by experience with the American lotteries and international lotteries that have had $1 billion jackpots recently. All our wins are guaranteed. What we did is we've partnered with a company that indemnifies jackpots. So obviously, it's hard for us to raise a $100 million jackpot. So we've done a partnership with the indemnification company, and that's how we guarantee our jackpots. And the smaller prizes are paid out from the pool that obviously is participation from the players. So pretty much the system works with 6 pools of 26 letters. So I don't know if you remember when Powerball came out, they revolutionised the lottery with adding an extra pool of numbers. Basically what we did is we looked at that concept and added not just 1 extra pool, but we added 5 extra pools, which gave us the right odds so that we could get indemnified for our prize and our odds. We've got very similar odds to Mega Millions and Euro Millions, being up around 300 million to 1. And we intend on running the lottery every week, so once a week. And the way that the tier prizes are paid out, pretty much the participation of players goes into a pool. The jackpots are done on indemnification, and when each tier's won, pretty much that's distributed as per this diagram here to all the other winners, tier winners. So what we did to get us great brand recognition and look for distribution partners is we partnered with a company in America with Stephen Crystal. So basically, I reached out to Stephen and presented to Stephen the alphabet lottery system. He fell in love with it straight away, and he decided to obviously partner with us to help us distribute and get distribution partners in a global presence. And that's been amazing. Stephen has organised meetings. We've had several meetings recently with some of the biggest lottery distributors around the world, interested in our product as a standalone product that we can obviously license to those distributors, and they will sell our products as well. So the platform, as I said, is ready to go. So what we did is we created a platform where we sell already recognised and trusted brands, and we're utilising the brand trust and awareness of the Powerball, Euro Millions and Mega Millions to gain critical mass with our own lottery product. And pretty much our product works pretty much exactly the same way as any other lottery. You do a quick pick with up to 50 lines. Pretty much exactly the same or very similar to the traditional numbered lotteries. Currently, we're licensed out of Curacao. Ironically, it's actually one of the ABC islands, and that gives us license jurisdiction in 176 countries around the world. And what we plan to do is concentrate on those jurisdictions and then launch through distributors into other licensed jurisdictions.
Craig, thanks for that. Sorry, we're just conscious of time, so apologies. We have to cut you off, but we'll go through post webinar for anyone who wants to reach out. Wayne Best, CEO of Nanolose, one of our companies that we've backed in the past. So Wayne, welcome, and 10 minutes, and look forward to hearing more about Nanolose and the company.
Thanks, Nev. So Nanolose is a biomaterials company. We're developing environmentally friendly fibres, fabrics and other materials derived from agricultural wastes and byproducts. We listed on the ASX in late 2017 via an IPO that raised $5 million. And the current share price is around 5.5, and with 150 million shares on offer, that gives a market cap of about fair of upside to the company, I think. I was just talking about the experience of the board, and I was up to Terry. I mentioned that Terry was a commercial lawyer with a lot of experience. Winton Willacy has a lot of corporate governance experience and capital markets. Myself and Winton were two of the founders of the company. Just a quick investment highlights. We've got what we believe is to be superior technology. We have 2 granted patents and 2 patents pending. The technology is not just more environmentally friendly, but the products that result from that technology actually have superior performance. So we're not just relying on our green credentials. We're operating in 2 high growth markets, the fashion sector, looking at textiles and vegan leather, both very high growth. Also in particular, we have a horticultural product, which is experiencing about 13% annual growth. The shift is happening. I mean, what we mean by that is that sustainability is everywhere now. Despite the fact that COVID came along, it's only enhanced companies' needs for sustainable products. The regulators are demanding it, the customers are demanding it, it's not going away. So our timing of having sustainable, environmentally friendly products is very good. We've got some great partners, right from our Chinese supply chain partner through to our fibre partner, Burles, and our fashion partners, and also partners that are making the actual fabric. Next slide, please. We've got 3 main products coming to the pipeline at the moment. We've got our nullarbor fibre textiles. We've had 2 pilot production runs already, and we've got the 3rd pilot coming up very shortly. We targeted the textile and fashion sector first because it had a huge demand coming from the industry. They're desperately looking for sustainable solutions. It also has very low barrier to entry and high margin elasticity. And by that, I mean you can get a t-shirt for $5 or you can get a Gucci t-shirt for $500. So that gives a new entry a bit of leeway when it enters the market at a niche price. Jelly Grows, our horticultural product, that's moving very rapidly now. We're very happy with that. We're just about to do our first pilot production. Just come back to China where we spoke with our supply chain partner, and that's really exciting. The vegan leather, it's still in the lab phase, but we should have some prototypes that will be shown shortly, and that's very exciting too. Massive market, $95 billion US at the moment. Most vegan leathers, you may know, contain a lot of plastics, so they're not very environmentally friendly, whereas our vegan leather is plastic free, so not only is it vegan, it's environmentally friendly. Okay, I mentioned that the fashion sector is desperately looking for sustainable solution, and that's because the current range of fibres and textiles that are out there are not sustainable. 2/3 of the market come from synthetic fibres, mainly polyester, a bit of nylon and acrylic. They're not biodegradable. They form microplastics in the ocean. They require non-renewable resources, so there's a real push against using polyester now. Cotton's a wonderful fabric. It's renewable, it's biodegradable, all those wonderful things, but it's not going to be able to grow its market share because it takes a lot of land, a lot of pesticides, and there's a lot of pushback now in terms of it can't increase the amount of land under cultivation. And that leaves the growth sector for textiles from the rayon market, mainly viscose and lyocell. At the moment, that's all, again, it's a nice, sustainable, environmentally friendly, biodegradable fibre. The downside is it comes from trees and there has to be a lot of wood pulping to get there. And the problems with that, of course, is that it contributes to deforestation. 300 million trees a year are chopped down to make our clothes. Of those 300 million trees, 25% from non-sustainable or endangered forests. So it's not that great. But we have a solution to that. Next slide, please. So Nanollose's solution is, instead of you chopping down trees to make cellulose, we make this cellulose from from waste feedstock from the agricultural and food industries. If you look at the top part of this slide, you can see how the current process works. You take trees. Those trees take about 18 years to grow. We cut them down and we chip them up. We do this wood pulping process, which is very energy intensive and requires hazardous chemicals. And the reason you have to do that is because the trees only contain about 30%, 35% cellulose. You get that cellulose, or wood pulp, as some people call it, and we can convert that through to this nice friendly fibre lyocell. Compare that with our process. We take waste. We ferment that waste. It only takes 18 days, not 18 years. We don't have the wood pulp because our material is 100% cellulose is in there. We then take our tree-free cellulose and convert that through to tree-free fibre. Okay, so here's our lyocell fibre. We've got a joint patent with Birla, a large Indian company that has 25% of the world market. It's award-winning. We've recently won an independent award for our technology, an innovation award. We've got great partners, as I mentioned, Adichie Birla. It's got a large market share. Our nullable fibre, we call it nullable, it's a lyocell fibre. It's not just more environmentally friendly than that based on the current wood-based lyocell, it's actually stronger as well. As I mentioned, 2 pilot runs already, 0.5 tonne of fibre produced already. The first pilot plant run produced over 200 metres of test fabrics, which have come out really good. Every test we've done on it so far has been fantastic. The fibre from the second fibre spin is going into fibre production as we speak, and that's expected to produce some garments by the end of this year. Our horticultural product, really excited about this. It's been on hold for quite some time, but we've just had a major breakthrough in being able to produce a dry powder formulation. So you can see on this right part of the slide here, that little bit of white powder at the bottom, you add it to it and it swells up and gels up to this wonderful product here. It's about 100 times its volume, and that's a seed germination mixture. It's again patented. We've got all the trademarks registered. The good thing about this, it's a really simple manufacturing technology. It's so simple, it's most embarrassing. We don't need a third party to do this, so it's all going to be made in China. We're targeting multiple markets and we're going to launch that product this year. In the last 18 months, I guess, or last 12 months, February last year, we did our first pilot spin. We've had a number of collaborations since then with various fashion brands and fabric manufacturers, both in denim and other types of fabrics. Our second pilot spin was done just recently in April. And next slide, please. Okay, so what's coming up near-term opportunities? We've got our third pilot spin coming up in the next month or so. That will produce some fibre to make our new folium. It's a fibre for the non-woven sector, for wipes and so forth. Shortly after that, we'll be doing a launch of our jelly grow, and early Q4, we hope to have our first release of a vegan leather.
Wayne, very good presentation. I think just from our end and those that are listening at home, I mean, obviously everyone's wearing, polyester or cotton. I mean, if you had essentially fibers made out of essentially waste, I mean, that's quite revolutionary. So really interesting product, and looking forward to getting the results for the third fiber. All right. So for those at home, Unith company, once again, that Peak has backed stock code UNT, and look, we've raised recently $4.5 million for it done, had huge interest developing a talking head technology, leveraging off ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. So
no worries. Thank you, Niv. Good morning from Tel Aviv. Good afternoon to Australia, everybody. My name is Idan. I'm the CEO of Unith. We're traded in the ASX under the code UNT. And we are a tech company that has offices in Barcelona, in Spain, in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. And we are 27 minutes into an investment presentation row, and nobody said the word AI. So we're a tech company that gives an opportunity for every company in the world from very soon from now to participate in, let's call it the AI revolution, by creating digital humans. Our mission is to humanize business interactions. It sounds big, but we have developed a tool that allows us to create digital humans that look, speak, and behave like humans. They have their own intelligence, and they could serve as colleagues, as your colleagues in your business, onboarding your consumers, your co-workers, recommend and upsell products, handle your customer complaints, and just take what is lost in digitization, which is the human touch. I think the best way to actually make it real is share a demo. So we have cloned our one of our interns, actually. Her name is Elisa, and we've made her a concierge in a hotel to prove the concept.
Hello, I'm Julia, your digital concierge. Welcome to Aiden Boutique Barcelona. This is a demo of how digital humans can be used for communications and customer representation.
Now, what do we see?
Please choose an item from the menu.
We're seeing an avatar that is being created on the basis of an actual human. She's our actual intern. And we have made her alive with the power of AI. Now, we have, as Niamh mentioned, raised 4.5 million Australian dollars almost 5 months ago. And with that capital, we are moving forward to take this system, which is, let's call it the original system, and improve it into a massively sellable product. Now, as I'll ask her just another question to maybe show what can she say about restaurant, and she can connect to various APIs and go to Google and find the best recommendation. She could do a lot of things, but to really improve and get what she can do, we have connected to ChatGPT. Now, not to the ChatGPT in the entire internet. Now we go to clients, and our clients would upload their knowledge base, whether it's in marketing, in sales, in onboarding, in any format. And the digital human would just be the expert of that domain. He would be, or he or she would be able to lead a conversation, to answer a question, to take a client or an employee from A to Z. Now, who needs that? A lot of people. A lot of people are digitizing their businesses. A lot of businesses are trying to find their way towards digitization. Now, where we marked our top markets is medical, and we're going to tell a bit more news about that space, hopefully in the next 6 months, and in onboarding. One of the biggest companies in the world, one of the top 5 big tech companies have licensed our services in order to take these digital humans inside the organization and carry very complex ideas. Because when a company must transfer or convey an idea or information, sometimes, and a lot of times, it is hard for them to get their colleagues' attentions, but they need to get this done. And we, with our digital humans and a very combined with a very advanced onboarding platform, carry this message just in a very visual way to represent it. This is how onboarding looks like in a lot of companies: a big Excel file with the things that you need to tick and do, and you get lost in this. And when you get a beautiful person in front of you that represents the organization, you're getting something which is clean, dynamic, engaging, and get the message done. It could also sell, it could also support, and we provide a human-like experience. Now, as Bruce mentioned at the beginning, taking a technology that has been existing for a very long time and making it cost-effective, this is exactly what we do. It has been possible to create digital doubles or digital avatars for the last 20 years, but making it cost-effective and smart is something that we've introduced to the market. We have a world reach. Our clients are worldwide. The prospective clients that we're speaking with are worldwide, and we provide our clients with over 600 voices and over 60 languages in any phase, in any complexion that you can choose. We have formed an interesting leading teams, usually and mostly from the machine learning disciplines, as this is a machine learning system, the ones that create the visual representation. But as we grew a bit after the last raise, we have founded a commercial team that is bringing a lot of traction into the business and helps us to carry this forward in a parallel line in which we develop technology and we get it to a launch, a full-on launch that would come in the next months of a platform that any business could onboard themselves, could create their own digital humans. And in parallel, we are having a B2B sales funnel that we have clients standing in line to wait to get their digital humans. Our business model is the future business model would be a freemium. You're going to get your own head for free with basic functionalities. And then we would pay as you go to more premium, more advanced features. But now we're selling directly to business with an enterprise subscription. We charge our clients around $2,000 US per month. They are happy to pay it as it gets them an employee that works for them 24/7, 365 days a year. He's never sick or she's never sick. They never complain, and they are the experts in their domain as they have the most advanced engine in the world running their brains, let's call it. I hope this was shorter than time, and I can hand over the microphone back to Niv. Thank you very much.
So maybe Letitia, I don't know if you're in the background, you can also join, but if everyone can put their microphones, we just want to have a bit of an open discussion among the panel. And probably conversation, I mean, Idan summed it up very, very well. Just about the role of artificial intelligence and shaping the company's future. I mean, there's a lot of talk about ChatGPT, AI, and where the market is shifting. So on that note, maybe Idan, do you want to kick off and how that's relevant to what you're building in terms of Unith's talking head technology?
I think that you're right. The market is really changing, and ChatGPT is not the cause. It's a symptom. And ChatGPT basically took information, the information revolution. There is now endless revolution or endless information in the internet. Someone that grew up 30 years ago and someone that grows up today has a very different access to information. Now, a lot of companies have asked themselves in the last 15 years, what the hell are we doing with all of this information that we are getting? And companies such as OpenAI said, hey, we can take all of this information, fuse it, and just have users access it. Google did something very similar 20, 30 years ago when they realized, oh, there's a lot of things out there. Let's have people search it. But now we need to crunch it and explain it to people that has much more information and to a generation that is used to things really summed up for them. What Unith is doing is joining into that and taking it one step further by using technologies that didn't exist before and taking all of this information and visualizing it and letting brands save time for their employees. Every time that we show that to businesses that we are having a commercial relationship to, or even investors, they're saying, "Oh my God, this is going to replace me. I work as a customer representative. I work in HR. This is going to replace me." Now, the politically correct answer would be, of course, "Oh, never." But it might replace some people, but as a lot of jobs has been changed since the Industrial Revolution, it just makes them more effective. It doesn't make people unemployment. It doesn't increase unemployment rates. It increases productivity. So we are there to increase productivity to companies. We are there to help them leave their business online with less people, but still have their clients feel that there's someone, that there's a human talking to them. And we are there to help them to utilize this revolution, this information revolution, and not get into coding, just upload a document and have their own digital colleague. I think I've spoken enough. I spoke enough now.
Craig, question for you. I mean, just lotteries. I mean, everyone at home, I mean, even myself, may have participated in Powerball, $100 million of one winner. I mean, how does AI and sort of technology shape lotteries going forward? You're in mute, Craig.
Yeah, as a company, we've been looking into AI really closely lately. Obviously, with with expanding and expansion through marketing and AI marketing. But I see, you know, the lottery industry being transformed, not just by our product, but obviously through artificial intelligence, different types of lotteries. We're utilising it pretty much every day in things that we do already in the business. So yeah, it's here to stay, and if we don't adapt it, you know, we're going to get left behind, basically.
I guess Jamie Green here. I guess my question is whether or not AI will be able to predict the winning numbers in the $1 billion lottery.
Well, I suppose it would, but do you have enough money to buy all the entries? That's the other question.
A question, Bruce, for you around Axiom. I mean, thinking about the sort of trend, the trend there, where it started out with sort of Facebook becoming Meta and the whole metaverse phenomenon, which seems to have taken a back seat now that AI has come into the picture. But of course, you know, what you were presenting with hologram, with the hologram technology, in one sense, is kind of the metaverse brought into the real world. You go to a museum and you see the whole thing. You don't have to get into a different world, as it were. But how do you think AI will sort of enhance the whole hologram experience going forward?
Look, I think when it comes to technology, the important thing for investors, and this is certainly how they see it in the stock market, there's a huge difference between users of technology and core technology. So let me give you an example. If you are NVIDIA and you make graphics cards and chips and things, and you have the patents for those, then that's something everybody uses. Okay, if you invent the light bulb, it's something everybody uses. If you're Facebook, then you are getting bits and pieces and you're putting them together and you're making a company. So Facebook, Uber, a lot of these big companies are still valuable because they're making money. But moving forward, core technology where you've got patents, and that's what we've sort of positioned ourselves as. We are the core technology company of holograms. We've done all the patents, we build all the hardware, things like that. Whereas groups like Meta or Facebook or things like that, they're taking off-the-shelf things. So there will be a lot of valuable AI companies that will appear, but there will also be core AI companies. So basically, if you make ChatGTP, you are a core AI company, something that now is licensed to everybody. If you use ChatGTP, you're like a secondary sort of service companies that's grabbing these things and putting them all together. In regards to AI and how it affects holograms, originally we realized that what was going to really be the biggest problem, the biggest obstacle in our company was content. How do you can build the best hologram technology in the world, but if you haven't got lots and lots of content, then you're doomed. In our particular case, we built an AI system. We're the only games company in the world that produces all of our content without a single human programmer. So we were doing this originally for the military in secret, where we were trying to make it so they could quickly produce simulations by answering questions. The computer takes all that information and then it produces things. Now, in our case, with a team of 7 people, to give you basically where we're at. So a simple mobile phone game like Fruit Ninja is normally 56 people in 2 years. Now, we produced 20 hologram games. We opened a hologram zoo up here in Brisbane. We produced 20 different pieces of content in 2 years with 7 people. And we had people flying out from around the world saying, how is this possible? And we showed them what we were doing for military would now extended across to hologram content as well as hologram entertainment. So in our case, whilst AI will certainly enrich every field, in our particular case, it allowed us to solve that problem of you've got hardware. Well, if you don't have matching content, then who's going to make it? And content's normally incredibly expensive to make. But now, like I said, if anyone's up in Brisbane, please contact me. We have a hologram zoo up here. It's 2,000 square meters, 50 animals, giant giraffes, elephants, everything. At the moment, it's actually, we're allowed to say, the top entertainment center, the most high-tech attraction in the world.
Wow, that's insane. I've got a little one, and she goes to the zoo every week, Bruce. But yeah, look, there's the opportunities are absolutely endless. Very, very interesting. On that note, I just wanted to sort of open it up maybe Wayne and Idan as well on you. I mean, what are the issues facing Australian companies and looking abroad? I mean, Idan, you're talking to us from Tel Aviv. I mean, some are saying that Israel is the startup nation of the world. I mean, because, you know, the way I see it is that you get told what to do for 2 or 3 years after the army, and then everyone's sick and tired of being told what to do. So everyone's going, right, I'm going to set up my own business. I'm going to go on entrepreneur, and I'm going to take this global. But what's your view, Wayne? I mean, you're dealing with Gassims of the world and Aditya Birla. Idan, you're sitting in Tel Aviv. Bruce, you're dealing with overseas customers. Just the issues facing Australian companies moving abroad.
Well, I think, you know, one of the issues is the same old issue that Australia's always had, and that's the tyranny of distance. I think the internet has certainly brought everybody closer together. But I think, particularly if you're doing B2B, it's very difficult being this isolated from the market. I think you really do need to get out there and meet people face to face and go to trade shows and put your product in front of other buyers, because, you know, there's a lot of competition out there for almost everything. And if you're not in the room for 12 months, then, you know, 30 or 40 other people have been there in that time. So that's one of the challenges, I think. Yeah.
So on,
and with, sorry, you go first.
on our end, we're actually the company that's received more Australian grants than any other. And recently the big issue was, you've received too many. Why should we give you another one this year? Already you have maxed out. So why should we give you another one? But Australia it has, how should we say, winter is coming. Its problem is the cost of shipping things is going up. And the stands, Afghanistan to Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, those places are filled with minerals and all the things that Australia has, but previously they were all closed up. Now they're open, and so Europe, China, everyone's going there. And so the government's saying, well, what is the future of Australia? How will we go forward if we're not a big farm and a big mine? And they decided that hologram technology as the next wave of sort of change upon the world, and the fact that we'd locked down all the patents and that we produced so many devices and off to such a good start, they said, okay, after all of this due diligence, we're going to just change the rules again, and you can have another grant. The best hope is for Australia to become a technology nation. People laugh at the idea of Australia becoming the next Tokyo, but there are a few areas where we're well ahead of anybody else in the world. Holograms being one of them.
I'll start by joining Wayne's point. You need to be worldwide, and as evidence, UNIT's headquarters is in Amsterdam, right in the middle of things that allows us to be wherever we need to be, whether in Europe, Asia, or the US, to be on the ground and meet our clients. Although we're a software business, so we try to save the travel cost and get everything on Zoom, or just send one of our digital humans, maybe in the future. Niv mentioned the fact that yes, I'm Israeli, and I think that here in Tel Aviv the startup ecosystem is booming. The military in Israel is a big part of it. People are sent to the military since they're 18, and they're giving a lot of the responsibility, once other people in the US, for example, are drinking beer upside down at college. In the military, things are moving very quick, and you solve problems very efficiently. In some cases, I spent 7 years in the Israeli Air Force. You solve them with technology. If there is a problem, we solve them with something that doesn't exist. You just go, you scope it, you develop it. You got software, you got hardware, you got everything that you need. Sometimes things that you thought that would be impossible are becoming possible in a matter of weeks. Then you go to the product market and you start moving processes a bit quicker. I think Australia, looking at Australia and the experience that we have with Australia, first, it's far away. It's hard to get there. It's also a personal pain. I like to come and see investors shake their hands, but it's far away, and it's and the time also costs a lot of alternative. There's an alternative cost to the time to get to Australia. But with looking at the Australian market, I actually perceive it as very developed. We see a lot of we have a lot of interesting conversations with companies and even government and organizations that come to us and they say, hey, we want to digitize. How can I do it with you? So I think that Australia can move forward fast, get techie if they want. And I think that's a major thing working. We have a lot of conversations with governmental and non-governmental organizations about how to deliver data. And when they want, they can move fast. And if they don't really want, you can really see that, because it's you need to walk an extra mile. That's it from my end.
Probably one more question to the panel, and then there's one specific question. We'll end there, just conscious of time. Was I mean, how do companies position themselves leading into 2025 and 2030? I mean, talking about workforce and infrastructure, and obviously the cost of money is just increasing. And how are you finding attracting talent? Question maybe for you, Wayne, and then Bruce, or what we done?
Definitely, there's a lot less talent. People aren't quite sure why. I've been involved in some panels and things up here in the Queensland government. Where did the people go? Why don't people want to work anymore? All that sort of thing. I think I really don't have an answer. I think sometimes there's wisdom in saying, rather than just make up something on the spot. In our particular case, we're doing okay because we bring them in young, and then we just sort of raise them in the company. So other places are saying, I need to go out and get professionals. In our case, each year, the universities, they just finish. We're the only place in the Southern Hemisphere that does this sort of thing. So a lot of people say, why aren't you in Silicon Valley? I say, because people be stealing my staff all the time. But down here in Brisbane, there is no other hologram company or advanced company to steal my staff. So I'm perfectly good down here. I don't have problems with staff being stolen. At the end of every year, all the university people say, please, can I work there? We bring them in. We do some very strange tests, as in name a fruit or vegetable for every letter of the alphabet as fast as you can go now. And this is testing things like how fast their minds work and all sorts of other stuff. So we've really found a really, really good way to be able to pick the best of the best of the best. And then we just raise them in the company from a young age. And they don't really think much of leaving in most cases. But I think we're a bit unique in that regard.
I think in terms of preserving talent from our end, it's all about culture. We create a very strong company culture, ones that unites everybody around creating a solution. As we say in every month with the developers, we want to create software that millions of people would use. And when there's a sense of purpose, they're going to stay. But with that said, Bruce is right. We're in our development center is in Barcelona, and when we grow our developers there and they learn how to be effective and run their and be good professionals. Across the street, there's Google, and they can pay much more. So you need to keep them with a lot of culture, with a lot of a sense of a team. And this is our secret sauce. But we're still a small company that has 35 people. Out of that, less than 10 technical staff. So it's a challenge that we'll face in the future for sure.
There was a question from the audience to Wayne, and for those at home, I mean, if allowed, a technical question for Wayne. He's not here, but can the yarn have allostermeric properties? Ben, if you're still listening, we will pose that question to Wayne directly by email. We'll come back to you. So on that note, I just want to say thank you very much for everyone joining on behalf of Peak and Primary. It will be recorded, and if you've got any other specific questions, please direct them to myself or Letitia or James or any of the panelists. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys very soon. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Niv, and well done to all the presenters. On behalf of Primary Mark, it's been great to hear your stories and encourage you all to reach for new heights.
Very good.
And we'll see you guys soon. Very interesting technologies, and thanks very much for everyone listening as well. See you soon.
Take care.
Thanks.